Hi Virgo, welcome to your July 2023 Astro-Tarot scope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. Whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Virgo, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So remember, I use whole sign tropical Western astrology. So if you're wondering what system I use, that is it. And also it's worth noting, if you're only going to watch one of these for the month ahead, make sure it's your ascendant. It's likely to be the most accurate for you on that day-to-day level. I'm putting something extra into these each month, so let me know if you like it. It's just a tiny little tidbit, and that is your themes for the month to help bring more context to the reading as a whole. So your themes for this month are spiritual connections and learning, past relationship matters, and all of the things that might come under that banner. All right, so I'm going to pop these to the side because those are for your moons, and these for your transit. So the first transit that I want to look at, on literally right out of the gate, right? July has no chill, by the way. For the 1st of July, Venus is going to square Uranus. So that card, as you can see, is going to be your first one out. I'm intrigued to know what it is. Venus is going to square Uranus. So this for you is happening between your 9th house and your 12th house, right? So Leo is your 12th house, Taurus is your 9th house. Venus rules your 2nd house of money and your 9th house of spirituality and travel. So this could be a desire to travel to a spiritual place or a retreat that isn't currently possible. It might be that like at first this might feel like a little bit harder to maybe to access funds or money, but then, you know, once you start to truly co-create and collaborate with the universe, you become clearer on how to access the resources that you require and desire. So Uranus there ruling your 6th house. So something to do with your work is really getting a boost here. It's allowing you to get proactive and creating the resources that you need. Venus conjunct Mars at this time as well. So this is kind of like your dreams could lead. It's like your dreams could lead the way or be potentially very sexual in nature as well. It's never a bad thing. Sometimes it's the closest we get. TMI, Raph, TMI, the prayer meditation. So prayer, meditation and spirituality are really powerful uses of your energy at this time that could bring amazing results and really like powerful insights. Now, although it is a square, this is why I say it allows you to get proactive. The way that I see a square is it's not like, oh my gosh, it's the worst thing and the sky is falling in. A square creates a problem or an issue loud enough for you to get proactive and say, this, I'm not having this experience again. So you get into it, right? And because you're naturally a dutiful sign who can just roll up their sleeves and say, okay, you know what, this is the shit I'm stuck with, I'm going to wade through it and I'm going to deal with it, right? This is the way through, right? The 12th house is the intangible, it's the other realm, or as I like to call it, it's the space within the chart that houses the door to which you connect to the other realm. The 9th house is your direct conversation, communication, etc. to God. The spirituality element of that is kind of the 12th house. So the fact that these two houses are connecting with Venus and Uranus, you could get some amazing downloads if you tap into your spirituality. For this, you have the Chariot card. You've got the King of Pentacles, love that, and the Sun card. This is beautiful. So the King of Pentacles, because you are a Virgo, so whether you're a man or a woman or however you identify is irrelevant, but that King of Pentacles is an archetype of you. You're flanked by the Sun and the Chariot. So for a lot of you, that travel element of the 9th house could absolutely be coming up. Maybe you get invited to give a talk somewhere and you think, wow, you know what, I really want to do this, but that's a long way away and I don't know if I have the money for it. This could be phenomenal, and I actually think this is wonderful for you. And what it suggests is when you get really clear on what your source for money, finances and resources actually is, and you start to converse or commune with that on a really deep level, you will see financial changes in ways that you don't even realize are possible. All right, like there's something big shaping up here, because it's the Sun with the King of Pentacles, and those two together, I mean, the Sun and the Chariot are both travel cards anyway, but the Sun coupled with the King of Pentacles, this is advancement in the job, the work, or the career that bring material blessings, right? Because it's Pentacles, Pentacles, and it's the highest expression of that suit. So very, very nice. On the 11th of July, Mercury is going to be coming into the sign of Leo to join the party with Venus, who's already there in your 12th house. Mercury into the 12th. Are you ready for more spiritual conversations with friends and or people that you care about? Are you ready to get a deeper understanding of yourself, your psyche, your own self-sabotaging tendencies? All of that stuff is going to come up here. This is, after all, as well, Mercury is your ruling planet, so it's coming into the 12th, which is a hidden space. This is likely deeper conversations that for you are actually fun. It's delving into your psyche and your soul, and maybe even discovering things about yourself that are helping you get clearer on what you desire to create from the deep well within you. I love this for understanding your own deeper motivations as well, like what's really driving your desire for this thing, this place, this person, this whatever. And I really like this as well for you understanding how to speak to the heavens, how to speak to God, the universe, whatever it might be. This could be a short break as well that happens to like a sacred site that maybe shows up for you, very possible. Maybe there's one close by, or maybe just a place that really incites a really powerful spiritual energy within you. This could be a short break that happens while you're, sorry, I've already said that. Your like this could also be that your dreams take on a much more precognitive kind of energy. Old memories come to the surface, bouts of telepathy. Mercury in the 12th is great for memory, but it's also really powerful for heightening psychic awareness and phenomena, whether you know that or not, but it really is. Now, whether you are or aren't ready for these kinds of experiences, they're coming, okay? So just get ready. For that, you've got the Knight of Wands, okay? With the Seven of Wands, this is a lot of fire energy here, right? And the Temperance card. So, I mean, I love this because it does suggest communication really ramps up for you. That Temperance card is a very spiritual energy on top of the Sun. This is some kind of spiritual or deep internal illumination that happens that you can't, maybe you don't, you know, you might be able to put it into words actually, because you're Mercury ruled and Mercury's in the 12th, so that's a possibility. But you might have an experience that is so profound that you almost don't want to share it with another person because it feels like, no, this is for me. You know, that Seven of Wands with the Knight of Wands, this could be either a creative idea that you're pursuing or a passion project that you are going after, and you might come up against some kind of, I don't want to say red tape, but I feel like it probably will be, all right? It's almost like you come up against something where you think, yeah, okay, in order to take this all the way, I'm going to have to get a license, or I'm going to have to study this thing, or I'm going to have to, do you know what I mean? It's like in order to take something to a new level, you realize very quickly, okay, there's something else that I need for this to happen. For your, on the next transit that I want to talk about, so before we get into this, what's really worth mentioning here is on the 20th of July, the week before this, you will feel this transit coming up. It's not just going to, no transit is ever really just on the day, unless it's a lunar transit, because the moon moves so quickly, right? And even then, you know, sometimes there's stuff that comes after, especially with eclipses. But here, what happens on July the 20th is Mars is going to oppose Saturn. This is important for a few reasons, but like I said, the week before, at least a week before, you will feel that transit starting to reach a rolling boil. And this is important because Mars is in your sign. Mars is in the first house for you. It's in the sign of you, yourself, your body. So you might be getting busier, you might be getting more proactive, and you might also be getting a bit more forceful. This is something that you're not necessarily known for. You're known to be relentless in the pursuit of excellence or doing what needs to be done. You're very good at that dutiful energy, right? But Mars coming into your first house can make you a lot more sort of, you know, forceful with how you push things forward and how you communicate. So watch out for that. Watch how you approach things, because it might be more aggressive at this time. Nothing wrong with that if it's channeled correctly, which I think you guys will, because your sign is the 6th sign of the zodiac, and in ancient astrology at least, Mars was said to exalt in the 6th house. So technically this could actually be a really good energy if you manage to focus it right. What it also suggests is that you have a powerful drive to get shit done. You might also be starting to get clearer on what happens when relationships ask from you more than you deem to be fair or have available, right? Saturn in your relationship sector, like in that 7th house across the sky in Pisces, this is, in a lot of ways, it's showing you that partnerships and relationships and the like can be a burden at times, or maybe potentially you're realizing that in order for them to stand the test of time, you have to put more effort in the here and now. What you desire to do for yourself and what you're obligated to do for others in contracts and connections are likely to clash here, right? That can be personal relationship, professional relationship, platonic relationship, relationships of all kinds. You have a relationship with your doctor and your vet. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have connections with everybody. So when we say 7th house and relationships, it's not just a marriage. It's so much more than that. Saturn may also be showing you what happens when you neglect a connection, right? So this could be, let's say you haven't spoken to someone in a long time, you haven't really checked in with them, and you haven't really given any thought to what's going on in their life. It's just like, oh yeah, well, I'm great, how are you? And you don't really stop or pause for an answer. You just kind of launch in with what you want from them. Do you know what I mean? Like, that person's not really going to be very acquiesceable to whatever you're asking for because you haven't reciprocated in any way. So keep an eye on that, because Saturn is a reality check, right? So it's likely to highlight to you potentially a relationship that you have neglected in some way. Again, doesn't have to be your significant other. Also, remember that your 7th house is also competitors, is open enemies, which is competitors. So for this, you've got the 6 of Pentacles, give and take, right, with the 7 of Cups and the Queen of Swords. Just going to tell you straight up, my dear Virgos, you guys know I love Virgos because they're marvelously kind, and it's something that people often really overlook with this sign. But I am going to tell you straight up, it looks like someone's going to call you out on something this month. And with the way that the transit's set up, I do wonder if someone kind of says to you, hang on a sec, like, you want me to do this, this and this for you, or you want me to be there for you, or whatever. And actually, I haven't heard from you for months. You haven't done anything to help me. So why the fuck should I go to bat for you? Excuse my language, right? It's a lot, right? It's not guaranteed. But for some of you, I feel, because the Queen of Swords is an argument, right? Somebody's going to chew you out over something. It may be because of a miscommunication, but I actually think it's more a case of this person feels slighted because you're asking for something before you've even given anything, which is rare for you guys, but hey, listen, we're all human, okay? 4th and final transit for this month, on the 23rd of July, Mercury is going to square, so Mercury is your ruling planet. Is going to square Uranus. So this is that 9th, 12th house axis being highlighted again, but with Uranus in the mix this time, right? And with your ruling planet and Uranus in the mix this time. And on top of that, Venus is going to go retrograde in that space for you as well, in that 12th house. So your ruler in the 12th house is squaring Uranus in the 9th. And it might sound odd and the reason I put this is because it's almost like you're going to have a conversation between you and what you perceive to be God or the divine, which in some capacity you must believe because you're here watching a tarot astro reading with me, right? So this is going to be a spiritual request that comes from the universe or your ancestors, your spirits, your guides, whatever you want to call it. This might be something that you feel either less than adequately equipped to fulfill, or frankly you just don't want to. Like maybe, you know, the universe says to you, listen, you say you want success, you say you want money, you say you want a partner, whatever it is, right? I need you to do this for me. And maybe you think like, oh, I don't know if I'm up to that task. Or maybe you think, I just don't want to do it. Pay attention and listen, right? On another note, this could be some kind of legal matter that comes up very much by surprise. An old debt, an old issue or challenge that comes up of some sort. It could be a bit of a shock, but once you get a handle on it, you'll probably be fine. As Venus goes retrograde in the same space, I'm saying this is likely to be financial in nature. Deal with it as soon as it comes up and move past it quickly so that you can continue doing the inner work that's required. And when you are asked by the universe what is required, right, or what they want from you in order to deliver a certain request that you may have, ask yourself, what is the resistance here? Okay, yes, feeling like, oh, you know, I don't know if I'm well enough equipped to be able to give this or to do this. That's one thing. It's a completely different thing to be like, well, no, I don't want to do that. Well, okay, so that's the whole point. This what this Six of Pentacles is talking about. Everything is an energy of give and take, so you have to figure it out. For this, you've got the Death card with the Eight of Wands and the Ace of Cups. So one situation or connection is coming to an end. I'll tell you that straight up. The Death card with the Eight of Wands. As soon as it does, a brand new one is coming in. So there are shifting tides when it comes to your connections this month that I actually think could be, in the long run, probably very, very beneficial for you. Okay, so for your moons on July the 3rd, we have the Capricorn full moon, which for you is in your 5th house of pleasure, joy, romance, fun, excitation, creative self-expression. And for this, you've got the gate 13 and listen. So listen to that inner child that is asking you to have more fun, to get out and to be more creative. Have a full moon party, go out for the full moon, or pay attention to what is highlighted to you at the time that really feels like it's something that speaks directly to that inner child of yourself. And then finally, for on the 17th of July, you've got the Cancer new moon, which for you is happening in your 11th house. And for this, you've got the gate 51 and shock. This is the equivalent to the Tower card, right? So that new moon in the 11th, I think is going to show you or highlight to you where your higher goals and aspirations. You might look at something and think, yeah, I know exactly where I'm going, and this new moon could come in and show you actually you're quite far away from where you need to be in order for this thing to happen. Suddenly, that odd request that comes in on the 23rd or around that time from the universe where they say, we want you to do this. Suddenly, that new moon is probably likely to be the thing that's initiating it. And it's almost like, in order to have that highest goal or aspiration that you see for yourself in the future, the universe asks you for this really odd request that you're like, I don't know if I can do that, or actually I don't want to. And suddenly you're like, holy crap, that's why they were asking me for it, is because I think I'm going in this way when actually I'm lost at sea and I'm going in the completely opposite direction to where I need to be going, and fulfilling that request that came directly from the universe is the thing that's going to get me on track. Okay. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic month. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.